My shelves are a mess. So let's do something about that. G'day folks, I'm Wren, they, them, and today we're going to fix the disaster that is my shelves. My shelves have been completely messed up. I don't know, maybe going on like 4 months now. And it's finally gotten to a point where I can't stand to look at them. I have been struggling on how I want to organize everything, but then the other day Max thought of a really good idea, and that was to like make a priority TBR shelf. So I have already done that. I pulled out all the books that I know I desperately want to read. Then I had another pile of like, maybe, you know, it was like if there was room to put more books on whatever shelf I chose, then I will use those. But if I didn't have room, it's no big deal kind of thing. And then I made another pile of books that have been on a few TBRs already and still haven't been read. Because I have quite a few of those. So what I decided to do with all of those books is put them on my top shelf. So top shelf, top priority, that kind of vibe. The only kind of organizing I did of that was I made sure the queer ones were still on the queer shelf. You know, everything else was just there. And then these were the maybes. And then this is they've been on a TBR before. I still really like organizing by genre. It has always worked for me and it still does work. But they just look so messy. And I wanted to try organizing by author surname. I've never done this before, but we're gonna go for it. I'm still gonna keep them in their genres, but we're gonna alphabetize.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody and stained from the people.
I've already encountered a problem. So I alphabetized the priority queer shelf, which like I should take you through. So this is the priority queer shelf so far. So It Looks Like Us, Queen of Eoflaria series, Transmogrify, Lure of a Demon, the second in the Bright Falls series, Anina LaCour, Tobias Madden, Ophelia After All. I don't actually know what this is about, but every time I see this cover, I'm desperate to read it. We've got Joe Mantell, Adam Silvera, and 16 Souls. So these are the like most top priority queer books that I want to read. But here's the issue I'm having. I really like this rainbow shelf, but if I alphabetize it, it's not going to be rainbow. So I'm thinking, what if I make all of the shelves rainbow? So like have all the red books, all the orange, all the yellow, all the blue and green and purple, and just like mix them up like that, but in alphabetical order. So I think I might do that. We'll see how that goes.
Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no.
Alright, so I stacked everything in colors. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, lots and lots of blue, purple, pink, brown, black and grey, and white. That's all looking fine, but these are my issues. So these spines are multicolored, so I don't know what to do with them, because there's not even like one color is more dominant than the other. And like even with this one, it's purple and I don't know, orangish. I don't know, it would look weird if I put them in either of those colors. But again, so many colors that I don't know what to do with. And then these are all my series that have different colors on their spines. And I don't like splitting up series, so I don't know what to do with them either.
Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Don't pull right down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah, I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more. Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in.
Alright, so I think I've done my queer shelf. These multicolor ones still don't have a place, and I don't know where I can fit them, but like everything else fit except these. But let me show you what I've got. I did run into one other issue. Not issue, just, I don't know, I need to work through this to see if I like it or not. This is what everything is looking like. So I think it is looking good, but let's go through. So still have the top priority up there. Then all the reds and the oranges. Just every time I see this, I get so proud of myself because I made this whole thing. Oh, it's so good. Such a good little pottery thing. Then the yellows. Then green with this little green skull jar thing and a little green crystal. But yes, all those green. And yes, I'm putting this more in the green than the blues because I can, and there's a shitload of blues. So putting that there. Then we have the blues. So many blues. Now here's where I had an issue. So I alphabetized it in like 2 sections, so it's like the light blue, and then we start again from A with the darker blues. I don't know. Ugh, it's so hard to decide these things. I might swap it around in a minute to see what it looks like all mixed up, and then I'll make my final decision later. Then we have the purples and the pinks with the few browns back there. And then down here we have the blacks. Then to separate the black from the white, I put these series together. And then I put these ones on top because these technically would go at the bottom because the surname is Sebastian, and that would be the last one. But they're so small. They're like mass market paperbacks. And to have them on the bottom of that stack did not work. But I think I kind of like it like that. So then we have the like whites and greys and off-whites kind of thing. And then I just put the Heartstopper series there. So this bottom shelf does look a little chaotic, but I think I like it. Okay, for now I've just decided to put the multicolor ones right there. It's just gonna have to be, it is what it is, because they don't fit anywhere else. Also, I just had to put Grell here. I couldn't leave her out, so I had to put Grell there. And then I got my tentacles! I got these from A Romantic Affair, and they are the greatest thing in existence. So, I had to put them there. I think I am just gonna leave this as light blue, dark blue, and just leave them all alphabetized to there, and then alphabetized to there. Because I like the gradient of lighter to darker. We'll just ignore that this is in this section, not this one. No, we won't ignore that. I can't ignore that. I will put that where it's supposed to go in a minute. On to this monstrosity. Our top priority here, in no particular order, we've got this lovely, lovely special edition of Die For You, which I cannot wait to read this. Oh my god, this is this... But the... Just had a moment of freaking out about how Die For You is my favorite song of the album. that I'm listening to right now, and then this is called Die For You. I want to read this right now, but I can't. I'm doing something. But, oh, love that edition. And then Full Moon Coffee Shop. I really, really want to read this. And Olivia Blake that I think I'll really enjoy. The Dwarves. Oh, I want to read this so bad, but that size is intimidating. Smother Moss. I think I'm going to read this for a particular vlog project, but I think I really like it. Ghost Boys, From Below. So hyped for this. The Flesh Market, The Harvest Man, the third in the From Blood and Ash series. I'm Not a Serial Killer. I desperately want to read that. The Girl in 6E. A non-fiction about mushrooms. Clanland's Almanac. We have Leather and Lark, which is the second book in... Oh, I don't know the series name, actually. But, you know, Butcher and Blackbird. It's the second one. Home Before Dark, Elizabeth is Missing, and then we have the manga that I'm most excited for. So Delinquent Daddy and Tender Teacher, The Gay Who Turned Kaiju, The Villain's Day Off, Penguin House. I am desperate to read this right now, but I've got other stuff to read. My Boyfriend is a Dog, which looks cute. Sheep Princess in Wolf's Clothing. I love this cover. It's so pretty. And then Kakaruyo, I can't say that. Bed and Breakfast for Spirits. So, and My Little Toothless. Hi, buddy. These are all the maybes of I really want to read. And My Little Horsey. Now, the issue with wanting to do everything alphabetized is that it won't stay like this. And this is in like height order. And I think it looks good like that. But everything's going to change. At least I know this one, which is the biggest, will stay there because it's a W. So that's good. But then this one, which is the second biggest, is a C. I don't know what I'm going to do with this stack. But then we have all of my fantasy and a whole bunch of knickknacks that I just throw in front of it. And then the poetry there. And then all of the other fantasy. And all of the sci-fi. For the Stargate Atlantis series, I'm not alphabetizing those. They are going in series order. Because they do all have different authors. But this is going in series order no matter what. But that's the rest of the sci-fi. And then down here is the mystery, thriller, horror section. And then I've just put all of the contemporaries like that. So again, I'll have to figure out some kind of thing to do with that. I don't know what. But now the issue with this is I don't know how to make it look nice because, you know, with the queer section, I could do the rainbow and it looked really cool. I can't do a rainbow here. They're mostly like dark colors. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll figure something out.
No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow.
Alright, I've done a few changes to the top section. I have changed some books here because I realized some of the ones I had over here were also queer, so I made them all fit as much as I could. They're very, very tight in there, but it's good. I like it. Also, I found this little guy, so he had to go with the tentacles just for more a romantic affair vibes. This is all of the really desperately want to read now. So I did put some of the maybes in this pile and I added some from my shelves as well because after a while I had like this much space left and I was like, let's just find more books for that. So I added Maybe a Fox, Meddling Kids. Unholy Terrors was on my maybe pile. I added The Lab. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute was on the maybe pile. I added Day Boy. A Very Large Expanse of Sea was on my maybe pile. I added Tuesday Mooney Talks to Ghosts. The Scorpio Racers was on the maybe pile. And 7 Days in June was on the maybe pile. So I added all of them and they are now all alphabetized. And I do kind of like it. You know, it's a little hodgepodge, but I think it works. And then for here, because this is kind of its own little section, I made that just all of my non-fiction, and I'm not going to alphabetize those. They are staying in a height order because that's what looks best. Then next to it I have my priority manga section, and then these are all the books that were on a TBR at some point and I didn't read them, and I have alphabetized all of these as well. But now we've got the manga to do, the poetry, the fantasy, sci-fi, and thriller, mystery, and contemporary. So I guess I just better get started on this.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Too many things going on, I can't keep track of them all. From people dropping a bomb to people putting up walls. I feel like life is on hold, perception stuck in a vault. I know that time can heal all, but how much time till we fall? It's awfully chilly outside when there's no shelter to hide. When everything is a lie, you'll find that out in some time. But when the things on your mind are all considered a crime, communication aside, we'll all just fight till we die. Is this an argument or just the start of it? Either way, I don't wanna be a part of it. Can I just get some space? I don't have the heart for this. I can't be picking up the pieces, fixing scars from this. Is this an argument or just the start of it?
I think I've done the fantasy. I don't know, it looks a little odd, but what I decided to do was go with age range, because I realized I had a lot of middle grade fantasy, which is awesome, I love it. So I decided to alphabetize all of the middle grades, alphabetize all of the young adults, and then alphabetize all the adults. I don't know if I love it. I like the system. I don't know if I like how it's ended up looking. I also put the poetry right next to the fantasy. I don't know if I love that either, but I might figure something else out later, but let me show you. Then we go down to the fantasy. So all of this is the middle grade, and then this is all the young adult. And then another skull there, so I can differentiate that that is the manga. I think I like it. I don't know, it looks so long, and I don't know if I like it looking that long, you know? I think it's mainly because it comes out past here. I often like to have these kind of middle section as their own thing, so the fact that it creeps over is a little bit annoying. But I do have a lot of middle grade fantasy and YA fantasy. But then we have the adult fantasy. Got it all like that. Technically, Ward goes before Woods, but it would look weird just having one single book over that side, so I just have to get past that being a little weird. And then I put all of the poetry there. I don't know if I like that either, but that's what I've gotten so far. But I think I'm just going to move on to sci-fi and the horror and mystery, and maybe inspiration will strike at some point.
I wanna drive away so I can be so far from it. I wanna find a place where no one breaks their promises, or maybe drown myself in something that is bottomless. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home.
If I'm being honest, It's been over a week since I did anything to my shelves. I thought I would get it all done in one day, and then I didn't have time, and then I just couldn't be bothered. I've made a decision, which involves what you can see behind me there. Some wood. And I've got a whole bunch of metal frame things as well. I'm gonna add some shelves to my bookcases. We'll see how this goes. So I'm going to use 2 brackets. Instead of putting it into the wall, I'm gonna have one on the bottom that goes into the top metal part of my shelves. And then I'm gonna connect the 2 together so that like you flip it around and then this top bit goes into one of those planks of wood. And thus I will have a new shelf. I really don't know how this is gonna go. These bits of wood that I got, they're a little bit shorter, like depth-wise. These are 28.5, whereas the shelves there are 30. Little bit of a difference there, but like that's fine. The length of these is good enough that I can like fake it because they're just a little bit too long for what I need. But what I think I can do is in the corner there where there's like nothing, I can just put more of the wood there so that then I can have something on top. Maybe we'll see how it goes like balance wise, but I don't know. You may also be wondering, this is the wrong color. It sure is. But I did get some stain. I got chestnut. We'll see how that goes. I've never stained anything before. I've never built anything to this magnitude before with like no instructions. We'll see how it goes. I'm terrified. I got a saw. I knew I would have to cut them, the bits of board. I knew that they were too long, but like doing it, whew, this is gonna take me a very long time because this is also like not sharp. I don't think it's been sharpened in 30 years. But whew, it's slow going. I kind of measured. Just look at my setup, right? This is what I'm working with. And then this. That's all I've done so far. But yeah, from memory, this much is the actual shelf, and here down is just all the excess. I don't know, but that's what I did, so let's hope it's actually correct. Oh boy, this could be bad. I don't know if I made a bad decision or not.
Taking shots at the enemy, I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything.
I did it. I know I've probably already like written this on the screen, but please kids, don't try that at home. Adults, don't try that. That was the most dangerous way I could have possibly done that job. Please, please don't ever do that. But you can see how much of a botched job I did. Alright, if that's fairly level, the camera, to show you. You see how it like, well, it's supposed to be there, but it went down and then I just had to like break it off at the end there because I couldn't get that bit. But because that was so difficult to get it straight, because I just don't have the right tools, I'm thinking maybe I leave this one fully as is. So I'm gonna play around, see what is gonna work, then I will stain and actually get things done. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. Obviously, like it'll have, you know, it'll be like up there, not down there. But, you know, have it just at the end of that and just at the end of that. So it'll still be well supported, but slightly shorter. And honestly, I think that's what I'm gonna have to go with. Just like to save my sanity and what little strength I have left right now. And like, I think this could be fine. I think I'm just gonna go stain this now so we can kind of dry overnight. I don't know if I love the stain, but we'll just do what we gotta do. It's temporary, but I put everything up. Very temporary. I just wanted to see what it would look like, but let me show you what I got so far. So far, I mean, you can see a very obvious difference between the color of that and the color of that. That only has 2 coats on it. I just honestly couldn't be bothered doing any more. I think there's only 1 coat on the underside. But honestly, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's a shit job, but I also kind of expected that, so that's fine. I've got zip ties holding all of these together because these screws that I got are really, really long, and I have not screwed in this top bit to the wood yet because everything's still wet, and I need to tighten these. I don't think it looks horrible. I say with many pauses in that. But I mean, considering how the day was going, it's not awful. Because that's so high up, I won't be able to just casually reach that. Actually, let me see. Okay, me, the shelves, standing flat-footed. Oh, yeah, I could reach that. I forget I'm tall sometimes. I don't know. I took a risk, spent a lot of money on this, but I don't know. We'll see how it looks in the morning. The varnish still has to dry. I honestly don't think I'll put on another coat just because I really can't be asked. So I think tomorrow I will just finalize everything and then I can figure out what to do with all of my books now. I did a thing. All of these are officially screwed on so they ain't coming off. And I did that. I love feeling handy. Oh. It's very gender affirming to be able to, I don't know, do handyman kind of stuff. I'm a handy person now. I gotta try and get this up there and then screw all of those on. And really hope I did everything correctly, and then I can finally start putting books back on the shelves. Let's hope I do this right. It's taken me weeks to do this video, but I think it's finally done. I reorganized my shelves. So for context, this was meant to go up a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And yet it's taken me this long. My life just got so insanely busy that I didn't have the energy to do like the last 2 shelves for weeks. We're just gonna say I'm done because I'm done with this video as well. I will take you through all of my shelves to show all of the organization that I've done. Not really much has changed since the last little update, but some things have shuffled. So let me show you all the shelves. For a full-on overview, this is as good as you can get. So you can see the extension at the top there. Yes, it doesn't match color-wise, but I don't care. I really don't, because I just wanted to get this video done. I wanted to get the shelf up. I think I only did 2 coats of stain, so that's fine. Everything is done, so let's take a closer look. So as always, my queer shelf is still a very queer, and always will be, in all honesty. I like that this is all queer, but in the future I would love to extend my queer collection over here, but we will leave that for another day. So what I decided to do up here is that I actually put all of the TJ Klune that I own up here that I haven't read. I have technically read The Extraordinaries, but I want to reread it so that I can continue the series. This is all that is currently out, but these are the last 3 of the Tales of Verania series that I have to read. But I thought I should put my TBR of Klune in my kind of TBR section, as before the 2 rainbow books that I didn't really know where else to put. And then we go down to the red and yellow and orange and green shelf. So nothing has really changed here. These are the shelves. They are what they are. And then all the yellows. My tentacles! And then the little dick dragon. We have fun over here. And all of the greenish books. So as I've said before, these are all in alphabetical order within their little categories. So all of that is alphabetized, that's alphabetized, that's alphabetized, but not one continuous thing. I just knocked over the tentacles. How sad. So on this next shelf down, we have all of the blue books. I did decide to split the light blue and the dark blue and split them in alphabetical order as well. And then from this shelf, we go to the purple, pink, and brown shelves. So again, everything is alphabetized in its own little sections. And then just a few little brown books at the back there. And then down the bottom, it does look a little messy because I have some books out for a video, but we kind of have the Heartstopper in the corner there. But then we go into the white and grey books. Then we have this kind of multicolored series section. And then we have the kind of black little section there. So that is all of the queer books, looking very lovely in their little rainbow configurations. So then we go into the main shelves. So a few little things have changed in here since I last gave an update, but that top row is still a priority TBR. So hopefully when I next have to do a TBR, I will just look at this shelf and try and figure out which one I am most in the mood to read, and I will read it. I hope this system works. I've never had anything like this before, so hopefully I will actually read these dang books. And we had to have the Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf right next to each other. There was something just very funny about that. And then this little section here is all of my poetry books. Whether I've read them or not, it doesn't really matter. They're all just being housed up there. That's the top shelf. And then we go down to the thriller, horror, mystery little shelf there. I wanted to put these at the top because I've just been in a thriller horror mood lately, so I think they should have, you know, more attention. But then we go into the fantasy section, which is very differently organized than what I would normally do. So this section is the middle grade fantasy books. Again, they are all alphabetized within their own little section. And then we move on to the YA fantasy section. And fantasy is also urban fantasy as well. I just put them all together. I have way more YA fantasy than I thought, so that was mildly eye-opening. Also, look at this clown that I just bought the other day. Isn't it horrifying? Oh, I love it. So on the shelf down, we obviously have the adult fantasy books. And actually, I haven't read too many of these either. I promise I do read my books. And then I got my little Toothless up there. Very cute. So that is all of the adult fantasy, which I really thought there would be more. And then we go to the next shelf down, which is all of my sci-fi books. Again, some of these I have read, some I haven't. But I really need to read some of these because I always think sci-fi sounds interesting and then I don't read them. But then of course we have my Stargate Atlantis collection, which is not complete, but I will finish it one day. And then the shelf below that is my contemporary. I put contemporary at the bottom because I don't reach for it as often as, I don't know, maybe I should. And I put The Mysterious Disappearance of Aiden S. facing out because A, I love the cover, and B, I really like that book. But I really don't have too many contemporary books, so that all fits just there. And then in this little middle section, I have all of my anthologies, which turned out to be way more than I actually thought. But they do all fit there. These are not in alphabetical order. They are just in height order because I had them laying down. And then on this top one here, we have all of my non-fictions. They are really, really jammed in there quite tightly, so I can't buy any more. Again, these are organized by height order because I have them laying down. Then going to our next shelves is my little manga section. So at the top here, we have series that I have more than one volume of. And then I did alphabetize these, but not by author surname. I did it by series name because it would just be way too complicated for me otherwise. Then this next one down is all of my queer manga. I did try again to alphabetize this in series name, but I also separated it between BL-ish manga, so like more of the male kind of books, and then separated the GL, so the more sapphic volumes. I clearly have more BL than GL, but I would like to work on that. So a lot of these I only have the first volume, but I am working towards buying more volumes. And then a very small section for the GL manga. Again, really want to buy some more of those. And then going down, we just have this really little tiny section here. And this is just kind of everything else, because there's only one volumes of them, so they don't fit in the series, and they're not queer. They just kind of ended up here, and I had to have Levius facing out because A, gorgeous, B, I desperately need to read it. So that is all of the manga, is those three. Then the next shelf down is just not bookish, but then the next one down is bookish, because this is all of my comics and graphic novels. These ones closer to the back I have read, so these usually get covered up by the couch. Most of these are read, only a couple of the ones here haven't been read. None of these are alphabetized. They're just kind of separated into read and unread, but nothing too serious going on there because it's mostly hidden, so I don't super care about that. So once again, this is everything. But that is not the only shelves I have, so let's go check out my other shelves. My favorites shelf. So this is in my bedroom, and I wanted all of my favorite books to be looking at me. So this is the setup. There is kind of a system here, but also kind of not. So obviously this first little bit here, we just have all of my stuffed toys. Then we have these special edition of the Diviners series with this lovely print on top. And then we just kind of have the favorites in alphabetical order. It's a bit of a weird system setup, but author surname, and then I had to have some for the Wild Built facing out because that is just my current obsession right now. So yeah, author surname all the way to the end there. But then from that little section, we then have this entire Lord of the Rings shelf. I liked to keep this particular book facing out, and I changed the image every so often, but it's just a cool little visual moment. For some reason it felt right to put all of my crystals right next to Lord of the Rings stuff, just because, you know, hoarding treasures in a way, I think is what I was thinking. And then I have these very cool bookends from Lord of the Rings as well. And then the kind of system here, it isn't really a system. These are just some random Lord of the Rings-esque books, some more Tolkien stories. We have a Hobbit companion novel at the back. It's also like a squishy cover. It's very strange. And then we have an entire collection of this particular printing. I think I said this last time I did a kind of shelf tour, but if you want full on to show you every single book that I have in my collection, let me know and I will go through it. And then we have this little moment in the center here. So we have a special edition of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. They are very pretty. As you'd expect, we have another Lord of the Rings set here, and I really love the spine that makes up the tree in Gondor. And then we have a few of these David Day collections of, I don't know, just Lord of the Rings goodness. I need to get a few more of them. These are very interesting. And then on display, we have the book that started it all. So this has been like passed down in my family, and it's literally being held together with some sticky tape. It is very precious. It has gone through many children in my family. This started everything, so it definitely needs its own moment. And then we have another entire collection, but yeah, that's me and Lord of the Rings. So lots and lots of stuff there. And then we have another little shrine. So this is my TJ Klune section, but we have the original Green Creek series in their indie published editions, which I love. Special edition Wolf Song, the Barnes and Nobles with the special stories in them, and I'm missing Raven Song and it hurts me every time, but that's fine. Back here is just a painting that Charlotte did. It's very creepy and I love it so much. So I like that it's just kind of hidden in the back there. And then we have just some other Klune books here. This isn't a book. This is a K-pop album. This is Stray Kids. I love it so much. It's just really cool art, so I've put that here for now. But then this section is again more of my favorites that are kind of following on from up there. So, you know, if we're going alphabetical order to there, which is a H, then we're down here with the rest of the H's, and then continuing on from there. Had to have a little moment of potentially my favorite book of the year, and I read it in January. It was the first book I read this year, and it's still up there as one of my favorites. So we'll see if anything beats that this year. So once we make it to the end there, then we go down over here. So we have a little moment for my favorite book of last year, Where the Dark Stands Still, and then just continuing on with the alphabetized favorites. Gotta have a Raven Boys section, it's just too good. And then another book I had to have facing out is Project Hail Mary, one of my absolute all-time favorite books. And then that there actually finishes the favorites section, because then this is all the comics and manga that I consider my favorites as well. So I have the box set of Sweat and Soap, and this isn't really in alphabetical order, even though the rest of it is, but I just wanted the box sets to kind of be like bookends. So we have the first box set there, and then the last box set at the end there. But they are holding together all of these comics and manga that I would definitely consider my favorites. Again, these are alphabetized by series name, not by author. And then below that, I don't really have too many books, but I will show you anyways. Below this manga, we have another manga series. This is Soul Eater. I think I only need the last volume and then it is complete. I have read this, it's one of my favorites. It got me started in manga. It's amazing. But it wasn't really gonna fit anywhere, so it's just kind of on its own there. Then I have some workout stuff there. And then we kind of go into my pagan section, I guess you could call it. So we just have some workbooks there, all of my oracle decks and tarot decks. And then we have a bunch of, I don't know, would you call them like reference books in a way? So all of the pagan-y goodness over there. Again, those are not in alphabetical order, just by size order. All right, that is going to be the end of this video. Those are all of my shelves. I hope this was somewhat entertaining. Thank you for watching. If you've made it to the end, put a key for the key of Erebor. Isn't it so freaking cool? I love this so much. I hope you've enjoyed looking at my shelves. I am actually really enjoying having all of these alphabetized. I think it's a really good system. Everything's going well with the bookshelves. I really like them. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.